I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today.
So they're playing with a lot of minds, and they're playing unfairly. And
Donald Trump rambles about social media to a like-minded audience of conspiracy theorists. Robert Kelly arrested. We have the latest. We'll introduce you to a pottery-making grandma in Morocco who's getting popular through social media. And this bear is about to get a nasty surprise in Animals Doing Stuff. And top of our newsfeed, Trump. It's been a while, but after what happened yesterday, we thought it was time to look at our least favorite president of all time. He held what he called a summit on social media. He only invited people he liked and then rambled on for like an hour on all kinds of random topics. It was a hell of a thing, and not in a good way. Here's Ezra.
It was billed as the White House Social Media Summit. It turned out to be Donald Trump bemoaning his treatment by big tech, especially Twitter.
And I noticed things happening when I put out something, a good one, that people like, right? Good tweet. It goes up. It used to go up, it would say 7,000, 7,008, 7,017, 7,024, 7,032, 7,044, right? Now it goes 7,000, 7,008, 6,998. Then they go 7,009, 6,074. I said, what's going on? No, it never did that before. It goes up, and then they take it down, then it goes up. I'd never had that. Does anyone know what I'm talking about with this?
Trump was speaking to a friendly audience.
Big tech must not censor the voices of the American people. To all of the social media influencers here today, you have a lot of power and you have a lot of strength, and you have to use it wisely. Many of you do, but you have to.
As you are watching this video, I am probably still at the White House. I have no idea.
Tim Pool, a YouTuber conspiracy theorist, attended the summit, as did several other right-wing and conservative figures.
And some of you are extraordinary. I can't say everybody, but some of you are extraordinary. The you think of is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Notably absent, Google, Twitter, and Facebook. The world's dominant social media platforms weren't invited. But Trump says he will see them soon.
We're going to be calling a big meeting of the companies in a week or two. They have to be here.
There's no guarantee that meeting will deliver any substance.
And the guy likely to be the next British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, had this to say about Donald Trump and how his tweeting got the UK ambassador to the US to resign.
I think the president's tweets could perhaps be more diplomatic. There's no doubt about that. But then sometimes things I say could be more diplomatic. The most important thing is that the UK and the US have a very, very good relationship. That's what we need to ensure. And the friendship and partnership in the UK and the US is the most important geostrategic fact of the last 100 years. Without it, the course of history would have been very, very different. And we need to maintain it. We will. It will be a great relationship, and we should take it forward.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, yesterday we told you about a Facebook group that plans to storm Area 51 in September. Well, that group has more than 400,000 members and it's getting loads of attention, mainly mockery, but attention nonetheless. Now, if you don't know, Area 51 is apparently where the US military have been hiding aliens. This group is called Storm Area 51. They can't stop us all, and they plan to do it on the 20th of September. This footage was released by the US Coast Guard. It shows one of their members jumping onto a submarine trying to smuggle drugs into the United States. It happened in the Eastern Pacific. The sub was carrying more than 7,000 kilos of cocaine.
You can't tell me nothing.
Mason Ramsey was trending because of this, the latest remix of Old Town Road. It's got Young Thug on it too, and it's just as terrible as all the others. But this one has a video with emojis. The singer Robert Kelly has been arrested on federal sex trafficking charges. He's long been accused of assaulting women and minors, but has always evaded prison until now, it seems.
Law officials arrested the R&B singer in Chicago. He's facing a 13-count indictment that includes child pornography, enticement of a minor, and obstruction of justice.
My client has declared his innocence, and we're here and willing to fight for him. That's where we are. That's what we're going to do.
This comes nearly 6 months after he was released on bail for alleged sexual abuse charges. In February, Kelly pleaded not guilty to charges that he sexually assaulted a woman and 3 teenage girls.
I can't do this anymore.
The charges were brought after 7 women, including his ex-wife, appeared on a Lifetime television documentary and accused him of emotional and sexual abuse.
Sorry. It's okay.
This thing is going to be won. It's going to be won in court. It can't be on accusations. An accusation is an accusation. That's all it is until it's proven in court. It's going to be 12 people that's going to try Mr. Kelly. Once they try him, if they believe what they've heard, he'll go to prison for the rest of his life. If they don't, he'll be acquitted again a 3rd time, and he'll go back to recording, and I think he'll be an even better person than he is today.
In February, the singer, known for such hits as I Believe I Can Fly and Bump and Grind, spent a weekend in jail on the sex charges before being released on a $100,000 bail. If found guilty on the latest charges, his time behind bars will be much longer.
Well, the problem of rich countries dumping their waste on poor countries has been in the news plenty recently. Here's a look at how Indonesia is dealing with the problem.
This energy drink was consumed somewhere in Australia. So how did it end up in Surabaya, Indonesia? It's because of the multi-billion-dollar waste import market. Developed countries have been dumping tens of millions of tons of trash in Asian countries for more than 25 years. But now the countries are sending the trash back. Authorities in Indonesia have just returned 210 million tons of waste to Australia and another 49 million tons to other countries. The containers of waste should only have carried paper, but authorities found hazardous material and even household rubbish such as soiled diapers. Malaysia also sent back 450 tons of plastic waste from a number of countries, including Australia, Canada, and the US. And in the Philippines, waste from Canada sparked a 6-year diplomatic row. President Rodrigo Duterte threatened to declare war on Canada if the country didn't take back its trash. But why are developed countries dumping their trash in developing countries anyway? Well, apparently, they are there to be recycled. Recycling plastics is more complicated and labor-intensive than you think. It's so difficult that a bulk of discarded plastics don't end up being recycled. Out of the 5.71 billion tons of plastic we have created in the last 70 years, 91% of it has not been recycled. And a lot of the world's recycling was done in China, which used to receive 600,000 tons of imported waste per month in 2016. But in 2018, it suddenly banned recyclable waste imports in a bid to protect its environment and air quality. And developed countries began to flood the rest of Southeast Asia with waste. But this is all legal, right? Well, importing waste is, but authorities say that the trash, like in the case of Indonesia, is often incorrectly labeled and can't be recycled. It ends up rotting in landfills, or illegal operators burn or bury it. Plastic burned in incinerators release toxic fumes and cause respiratory illnesses, water contamination, and a host of environmental issues.
Our recommendation is to ask the ASEAN countries to immediately ban all the imports of plastic waste.
Activists say that many developed nations are not taking responsibility for their own trash and exploiting developing nations which lack the necessary regulations. So, is it finally time for a better solution to the world's waste problem?
All right, it's around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Friday. The UN will look into more than 6,500 extrajudicial killings in the Philippines. The people were killed by the police and their proxies as part of President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs. Earlier this week, Amnesty International said the police in the Philippines were operating a large-scale murdering enterprise. A Russian nuclear submarine sank in the Barents Sea in 1989. The water around the wreck is now 100,000 times more radioactive than normal. Well, this is footage taken from a remote sub about a mile down, 260 miles off the Norwegian coast. The Russian sub is called the Kosmolets, and it's a nuclear-powered vessel with 2 nuclear-tipped torpedoes. 42 of the 69 crew aboard died after a fire broke out back in 1989. What caused the fire is a state Russian secret. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is being sued by 2 people for blocking them on Twitter. This comes after a judge told President Trump he couldn't block people on the app because to do so was an infringement of their First Amendment rights. And to the surprise of absolutely no one, Google have revealed their employees do listen to private conversations recorded on Google Home devices. Google say they do this to improve the quality of the artificial intelligence software. They've not said how long they keep the recordings or which recordings they use and why. Google are complaining, though, about the fact the news has been leaked. It was leaked to a news site in Belgium called VRT-NWS. Well, to Morocco now, where we meet a woman in her 80s who's kind of blowing up on social media because of her pottery. Ruby has the story.
Mama Aisha is a Moroccan pottery artist. Although her handcrafted ceramics rarely sell nowadays, people from all around the world are coming to the foothills of the Rif Mountains to join her workshops, thanks to social media. Students sit cross-legs on mats and get their hands dirty with clay to learn from the 82-year-old master.
It's like a very traditional practice, so we help Mama Aisha around collecting the clay. We watch the process as to how the clay is made. We do some other bits around the house, and then and learn from her as to how the different steps of the practice that she does.
Pottery making requires some diligent work. It includes shaping clay by hand, drying pieces in the sun, and firing them in a large open pit filled with wood. In the Rift Mountains, women potters come from the Sles tribe, and they're vanishing with only about half a dozen remaining.
Before, in our village of Ain Bushnik and with the Sales tribe, there were more than 32 potters. With the invasion of plastic, it's now difficult to market pottery. There remains a few potters, 6 or 7 women, but they're older.
Mama Aisha says Moroccan youth prefer jobs with fixed salaries, and this is just one of the reasons the tradition is dying.
The young people here don't want to get their hands dirty with clay. They prefer to be civil servants with fixed salaries. I help those who want to learn, but I can't do anything for those who don't.
Those wanting to attend her workshops need to make reservations a whole year in advance, because Mama Aisha's work has gained a global reputation on Instagram, and her workshops sell out like hotcakes. Researchers, collectors, and enthusiasts want to create a museum in the Rif Mountains enshrining this ancestral knowledge of the Sles tribe, which dates back to the Bronze Age.
And a Friday Animals Doing Stuff for you, and this one is pretty good, I promise. It comes from Facebook. Now, a black bear wandered into a garden in New Jersey in the United States. Yep, I didn't know they existed there either. It started seeing food meant for the birds from a feeder until, what's this? A dog from next door runs over and risks life, limb and tail to chase the bear out of the garden. And this bear has obviously got soft at whatever age it is, so used to stealing bird food, it's forgotten it could definitely beat up a dog in a fight. But it runs off with its tail between its scaredy bare legs. The hero canine is called Riley, and apparently is going to get a steak dinner for reward for her heroism. And that will do from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melville. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.